Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today's Friday, December 23rd, 2022, the final podcast before Christmas. Today we're going to recap last night's Thursday Night Football game and look ahead to tomorrow's and Sunday's games. We have college bowls to discuss and look ahead to the weekend there. College basketball, small slate, NBA, NHL, news and notes, and best bet in the Fab Five. So a small show today. NFL's first. We'll go over yesterday's game and look ahead to the games coming up for the weekend. Jaguars over the Jets, 19-3. The Jaguars could win the AFC South. They're 7-8. Jets are also 7-8. They're kind of out of it. Zach Wilson was awful. 9 of 18, 92 yards and a pick. And then comes in the game, Chris Streveler, 10 of 15, 90 yards, and 9 for 54 on the ground. Still did nothing with Streveler. My goodness, that Mike White thing with his ribs might cost them a playoff spot. And Trevor Lawrence, 20 of 31, 229 yards, and a mess of weather, and 7 for 51 on the ground. All right. Tomorrow, slate 1 o'clock on CBS, you have the Bills at the Bears. Projections, Bills by 12, total 45 and 17/20. And we have let's see, 8.5 and 40.5. I'm going to take the over. The Bills are missing some players on defense, and I think that the Bears can put up 20. And the Bills are obviously going to put up more than 20. So give me the over. If the Bears can put up 20-plus against the Eagles, they can do it against the Bills, especially with the Bills not having some key defensive players. Next, Saints-Browns. My line is Browns 8.5, total 44 and 3/10, and it is 2.5 and 32.5. Over. I can't express this enough. Like 17-16 wins. Like, that is insane. Texans-Titans. My line is Titans 10, total 40.25, and it is 3.5 and 35.5. I'm going to lay the 3.5 with the Titans. I know it's Malik Willis, not Ryan Tannehill, but the Texans still stink and they're trying to tank, so I'm going to lay the points. On Fox, Seahawks-Chiefs. I project the Chiefs by 11.5, total 51 and 7/10, and it is 10 and 49.5. Over. The Seahawks defense is just dreadful. We know that, and it's like auto over at this point. Giants-Vikings. My line's Vikings by 9, total 46 and 2/5, and it is Vikings by 3.5, total 47.5. I'm going to lay the 3.5 at Minnesota. The Vikings are kind of banned from Fab 5 until further notice. But the disrespect this team gets, this is, I think, the first time we've seen the Giants get respect a little bit as an underdog here. So I'm going to lay the 3.5 with Minnesota. On CBS, Bengals-Patriots. My line is Bengals by 3, total 43 and 4/5, and it is 3 and 41.5. I'm going to take the over. I know New England's missing some guys offensively, but this is a Cincinnati Joe Burrow over pick. Lions-Panthers. My line on this game, and this game's on Fox. I project Detroit by 1, total 47.25, and it's 2.5 and 43.5. I like the over in this game a lot. Detroit's just been scoring a lot. I know it didn't happen last week, but they were in bad weather in the Meadowlands. But I like the over here. And Falcons-Ravens closes out the 1 o'clock slate for tomorrow. My projections, Ravens by 5, total 43 and a 10th, and it is 6.5 and 35.5. This is another over. Don't feel super about this because of no Lamar Jackson, but I do like the over. Only two 4 o'clock games. On CBS, we have Commanders, 49ers. Mine's 49ers by 4, total 38 and 17-20, and it's 7 and 37.5. I like the Commanders here getting the 7. That's a lot of points. No Deebo Samuel. But when is the pixie dust going to come off Brock Purdy a little bit? We saw it come off of Taylor Heineke last week. When's it going to come off of Brock Purdy? And the big one on Fox, Kevin Burkhardt, Greg Olson on the call. Eagles, Cowboys from Dallas. My line is Dallas by a half, total 47 and 9/10, and it's 4 and 47.5. I'm going to take the Eagles getting the 4. I know it's Gardner Minshew. The Eagles really don't need the game. Neither does Dallas. But that's the weird thing about this game. But I think Dallas is going to play hard, and I think Philly will play hard because I think they want to lock up that 1 seed. So, give me the Eagles getting the 4. And for what it's worth, plus 168 on the money line. And on the NFL Network, the Raiders and the Steelers at night. I don't know who's going to be on the call this game. My projection, Steelers 2.5, total 44 and a 10th. Kenny Pickett's back for Pittsburgh in this one, and it is 2.5 and 38.5. I like the over a lot. Like I said, Pickett's back. That's going to get that offense going. And the Raider offense really hasn't been bad either, so give me over 38.5 there. And on Christmas Day, we have 3 games. 1 o'clock on Fox. We have the Packers and the Dolphins. Mine's Dolphins 8.5, total 46 in the 20th, and it is 3.5 and 49.5. I love the Dolphins. Love them. I'm surprised that line's so low. This is a perfect bounce back spot for them. So I'm going to leave the points with the Dolphins in Florida on Christmas against the Packers. 4:30 on CBS, Broncos, Rams. This kind of feels like a Thanksgiving slate, except on Christmas. And it doesn't feature the Lions and the Cowboys. My line's Broncos by a half, total 36.5, and it's 3 and 36.5. I'm going to take the Rams getting the 3. They're plus 130 for what it's worth. And on Sunday Night Football on NBC, the Buccaneers and the Cardinals. Any other day of the year, this would be a flex game, but it's not because it's Christmas, and of course, Mr. Tom Brady's involved. My line is Bucks 5.5, total 42, and 17-20, and it's 8 and 39.5. I have a 2.5 point edge on the Cards, but a over 3 point edge on the over. So I'm going to go with the over, and I feel better about the over in this game than I do about the Cardinals. All right, and Monday night, we'll save for Monday night. College football, we'll go over bowl results from yesterday and look ahead to today and tomorrow, and there's no bowl games on Christmas. Air Force defeats Baylor 30-15. Air Force finishes 10-3. Baylor finishes a disappointing 6-7. 2 games today. 3 o'clock on ESPN. You have Louisiana against Houston. My projection here is Houston by 3, total 60 and 3/20, and we got Houston by 7, total 56.5. I'm going to take the points with y'all, Louisiana. I think they hang around here. Houston has a wide receiver suspended. That's not great. I think Houston's just underachieved all year. So give me Louisiana getting the 7. And for what it's worth, plus 235 to win. And 6:30 on ESPN, you have the Gasparilla Bowl. And by the way, Louisiana, Houston's the Independence Bowl. So the Gasparilla Bowl, you have Wake and Missouri. My line is Wake by 3, total 58 and 3/10, and it is 2.5 and 58.5. This is the closest projection I've had so far. So a 0.5 point edge on Wake and a 1/5 of an edge on the under. So I'm just going to do a slight lean to Wake. And tomorrow night, 8 o'clock on ESPN, the Hawaii Bowl, Middle Tennessee, San Diego State. Steve Levy will almost certainly be on the call for this one. This is like his game every year. My projection is a pick 'em at 49 2/5. And it's 8.5 and 49.5. Give me Middle Tennessee getting the points. I think that is a lot of points. I don't know if they'll win. They're plus 205 for what it's worth. So give me Middle Tennessee getting the 6.5 against San Diego State in the Hawaii Bowl. All right, now we'll go over to college basketball games from yesterday and look ahead to a small window for today. And then the weekend, too. Actually, there's no games on Christmas Eve for what that's worth. Hofstra over Old Westbury, 96-48. Sacred Heart over Holy Cross, 66-62. Bryant over Towson, 69-59. Fordham over VMI, 80-77 in overtime. Northern Illinois over Indiana State, 67-57. Siena over American, 64-61. LIU over Purchase, 95-58. Minnesota over Chicago State, 58-55. North Florida over Bethune, 87-85. Cornell over Colgate, 91-80. Eastern Kentucky over UNC Greensboro, 68-64. Stephen F. Austin over Jackson State, 80-69. Charleston Southern over Kentucky Christian, 126-67. Arkansas State over Little Rock, 77-75. Utah Tech over Lindenwood, 95-64. Diamond Head, SMU over Iona, 85-81. Northridge over San Diego, 83-78. Vandy over A&M, Alabama, 70-62. Penn State over Quinnipiac, 77-68. Santa Clara over Boise, 73-58. Wagner over Gwinnett Mercy, 89-55. UC Riverside over Portland, 76-65. Bradley over Akron, 74-55. Diamond Head, Utah State over Seattle, 84-56. West Virginia over Stony Brook, 75-64. Maryland over St. Peter's, 75-45. Number 4, Kansas over Harvard, 68-54. Cal Poly over San Diego Christian, 72-59. St. Fran Brooklyn over Medgar Evers, 89-66. Rice State over Miami of Ohio, 88-80. Loyola over Gucci, 99-53. South Florida over NJIT, 92-73. NC State over Louisville, 76-64. St. Joe's over Central Connecticut, 83-66. Wright over Marist, 77-71. Queens over Fairleigh Dickinson, 82-73. Yale over Monmouth, 76-44. South Carolina over Western Kentucky, 65-58. Sunbowl Invitational, New Mexico State over NCAT, 85-76. UAB over Charlotte, 76-68. Number 5, Arizona over Morgan State, 93-68. Wichita State over Texas Southern, 65-56. North Texas over UTSA, 78-54. Creighton over Butler, 78-56. Missouri over number 16, Illinois, 93-71. San Fran over Hartford, 85-53. BYU over Weber State, 63-57. Diamond Head Wazoo over George Washington, 66-64. Sun Bowl, Kent State over UTEP, 47-46. Portland State over Cal Baptist, 74-72. UNLV over Southern Miss, 74-63. Stanford over Loyola Chicago, 75-62. And Diamond Head Hawaii over Pepperdine, 76-70. Drexel Fairfield postponed. And Milwaukee, Rhode Island, Sam Houston, Missouri State canceled. Not a lot of games today. 12 o'clock, we have Keene Princeton we can skip. 4 o'clock, we have Coppin State and George Mason. Projections, George Mason by 26, total 151 and 2/5. And we got 11.5 and 146.5. I'm going to lay the 11.5 with George Mason. 4:30 ESPNU, Diamond Head, Iona, Seattle. This is a loser game, meaning like the two teams lost. Mine's Iona by 7 3/4, so 143 and 17/20. And it's 8.5 and 146.5. I'm going to take the under. Bucknell, Rutgers. My line is Rutgers by 22 1/4, total 130 and 19/20. And we got 19.5 and 132.5. So, I'm going to lay it with Rutgers. That's on the Big Ten Network. Also on the Big Ten Network, but at 7 o'clock, Kennesaw State at number 18, Indiana. My line is Indiana by 17 3/4, total 142 and 19/20. And we got 19.5 and 142.5. I'm going to take a slight lean to Kennesaw State. ESPN2 Diamond Head, SMU, and Utah State. My line is Utah State by 9.5, total 147 and 11/20. And we got 12.5 and 146.5. I'm going to take Southern Miss Baptist getting the points. 10 o'clock, ESPN2 Diamond Head, George Washington, and Pepperdine. By the way, SMU Utah State is a winner's bracket game. George Washington and Pepperdine, a loser's bracket game. My line's George Washington by 4 3/4, total 147, and it's Pepperdine 2.5, total 152.5. Give me George Washington getting the 2.5 and plus 126 to win. And last but not least, winner's bracket game, midnight Eastern, Diamond Head Classic, Washington State, Hawaii. My line is Washington State by 8.5, total 132 and 4/5, and it is 2.5 and 127.5. I'm going to lay the 2.5 with Washington State against Hawaii. A couple games on Christmas. So Diamond Head Classic at 1:30 on ESPNU, same with 3:30 on ESPNU. 4:30 on Fox, you have DePaul and Creighton. I could do a projection for this, actually. So my line for this would be Creighton by 9. And we don't have a line out yet for this. And then 6:30 and 8:30 on ESPN2 respectively, we have Diamond Head Classic games. So no college basketball until Tuesday after Christmas. So that's very interesting and worth noting. Okay, NBA. We'll recap the games from yesterday, which is only 2 games, and look ahead to the games being played tonight, and then Christmas projections, depending on scenarios. All right, Pelicans over the Spurs, 126-117, and Jazz over the Wizards, 120-112. A big slate tonight, 14 games, 7 o'clock, you have the Spurs and the Magic. My line is the Magic by 10, total 226.5, and it is 7 and 228.5. I'm going to lay the 7 with Orlando. Clippers, Sixers. My line is Sixers 1.5, total 216 and 17-20. It's 3.5 and 216. I'm going to take the Clippers getting the points in Philly. 7:30 Pistons Hawks. My line is Pistons as 13 3/4 underdog, total 229 and a 20th, and we got 8.5 and 233. I'm gonna lay the points with the Hawks. Timberwolves Celtics. My line is Celtics 8, total 230 and 7/20, and it is 3 and 229. Oh, no, that's Brooklyn, Milwaukee. Oops. 9 and 230. That sounds right. Slightly into Minnesota. NBA TV, Bucks Nets. My projection is Bucks by a quarter, total 223 and 13-20. And it's Brooklyn by 3, total 229. Under. Raptors Cavaliers. My line is Cleveland by 7 3/4, total 218 and 4/5, and we got 4 and 215. Over. Bulls Knicks. My line is Knicks by 10 3/4, so 226 and 17/20, and it's 5 and 225.5. I'm gonna lay the 5 at the Knicks bounce back spot. 8 o'clock Pacers Heat. My line is the Heat by 9 1/4, total 223 and 13/20. And by the way, 226 and 18/20 is the Knicks total. So Heat by 9 1/4, total 223 and 13/20. And we got 7 and 223.5. I'm going to lay the 7 with Miami. 8 o'clock, Mavs Rockets. My line is the Mavs by 6 3/4, total 222 and 13/20, and we got 6.5 and 220.5. Over. Pelicans Thunder. My line is the Thunder by 2 1/4, total 230 and 9/10. No Zion, no Ingram. And it is 2 and 231.5. Slight under. 9 o'clock, Blazers Nuggets. My line is the Nuggets by 11 1/4, total 226 and 3/5, and it is 4 and 233. I'm gonna lay the 4 with Denver. That is low. ESPN 10 o'clock, Grizzlies Suns. This would have been a more interesting game if Devin Booker was playing, but he's not. My line is Grizzlies by 4.5, total 226.5, and it is 2 and 224. So we have a 2.5 point edge both on Memphis and the over. I'm going to play it safe and lay the 2 with Memphis because taking the over in a game without Devin Booker makes me nervous. Wizards Kings. My line is the Kings by 15 1/4, total 229 and 9/20, and it's 9 and 236.5. So the pick's going to be the under. And last but not least, 10:30, Hornets Lakers from Crypto. My line is the Lakers by 5 1/4, total 230 and 9/20, and we got 3.5 and 239.5 under. That is a no-brainer pick. No Davis is an automatic under for me. I know the defense obviously will be worse, but Davis's offense will be missed. All right, the Christmas slate. 12 o'clock on ABC and ESPN simulcast. All 5 games will be on both networks, which is pretty neat. What leads it off is Sixers-Knicks. So, if both teams have the same result, my projection will be Knicks by 2 3/4. And this is factoring out the projected absence of Tyrese Maxey. If the Knicks win, the Sixers lose. Knicks 3.5. And if the Sixers win tonight and the Knicks lose tonight, it's 1.5. I make it. And the Knicks would be favored in all scenarios because of no Maxey. But if Maxey was there, Knicks win, Sixers lose would be a pick'em. So, right now it's Sixers 2.5, total 218.5. So if I had to make a pick right now, it's Knicks plus 2.5 and plus 114. Like, come on. And obviously we don't have totals because we need to see how these games play out. So maybe on Monday's podcast, I'll reveal who I bet on for Christmas in the NBA. All right, 2:30 ABC, ESPN combo, Lakers Mavs. So this is the first time I can remember the Lakers being on the road on Christmas Day in a long time. Probably since 2013. When they, 2012 when they were at Miami. And then Miami went to LA. That's why I was thinking 2013, but LeBron was on the road that year. That was probably the last time LeBron might have been on the road on Christmas. Unless it was 2015, it was Cavs at Warriors, which it probably was. I don't remember. So, if both teams have the same result, my line would be Mavericks by 12 1/4. If the Mavs win, the Lakers lose 13. And if the Lakers win, the Mavs lose 11.5. And this is with the projected absence of Anthony Davis. The line is 8, and the total is 225.5, so I'd lay the 8 with Dallas right now. 5 o'clock, ABC and ESPN, you have the Bucks and the Celtics. Mark Jones and Doris Burke be on the call for this one. By the way, Dave Pash, Hubie Brown for Lakers, Mavs, and Ryan Rucco and JJ Redick for Sixers, Knicks. I feel like the Ryan Rucco Invitational is that Knicks game. That Knick home game. That's always in that 12 o'clock spot every year. So, if both teams have the same result tonight, the line would be Celtics by 2. If the Celtics win but the Bucks lose, Celtics by 3. And if the Celtics lose but the Bucks win, Celtics by 1.25. The line right now is Celtics by 4, total 222. So as of right now, I would take the Bucks getting the 4 in Boston. 8 o'clock, ABC, Grizzlies-Warriors, round 2 rematch. Mike Breen, Mark Jackson, and Jeff Van Gundy on the call with Lisa Salters. My projected lines all with the absence of Stephen Curry in play. If both teams have the same result tonight, Grizzlies by 6 3/4. If the Grizzlies lose and the Warriors win, Grizzlies by 6 1/4. And if the Grizzlies win and the Warriors lose, Grizzlies by 7.5. And the line is Grizzlies 4.5, total 227.5. So I'll lay the points with the Grizzlies for right now. So 2 dogs and 2 favorites so far. And last but not least, 10:30 on ABC and ESPN, the Suns and the Nuggets. If both teams have the same result tonight, my line would be Nuggets by 6 1/4. And this is with Devin Booker projected to be in the lineup. So if the Nuggets win, the Suns lose, it'd be Nuggets by 7. And if the Suns win tonight but the Nuggets lose, it'd be Nuggets by 5.5. But if somehow Devin Booker didn't play, the lines respectively, with same result for both of these teams, it would be 11 3/4. Nuggets win, Suns lose without Devin Booker on Christmas would be Nuggets 12.5. And if the Suns win and the Nuggets lose and Devin Booker doesn't play on Christmas, then it'd be Nuggets by 11. So right now, I'm projecting Devin Booker to play. So we'll go with the 6 1/4, 7, and 5.5 lines. So right now, the Nuggets are giving only 2.5. So that suggests that Devin Booker will be back on Christmas. But even with Devin Booker, guess what? I laid the points with the Nuggets. So right now, 3 favorites: Denver, Memphis, and Dallas, and 2 dogs: Milwaukee and the Knicks. And of course, the Knicks are the only home under. Oh no, the Warriors are a home underdog too, but they would have been favored if Curry was playing, obviously. Alrighty, the NHL. We'll look back on the window from last night and look ahead to tonight's slate, and it's just tonight because there's no games on Saturday and Sunday. Leafs over the Flyers 4-3. Bruins over the Jets 3-2. Rangers over the Isles 5-3. Caps over the Sens 3-2 in OT. On a game winner by Alex Ovechkin. Or, I'm sorry, it wasn't Ovechkin. My bad. Marcus Johansson. I read that wrong. Canes over the Pens 4-3 in OT on a game winner by Jacob Slavin 23 seconds into OT. Canucks over the Kraken 6-5 in a shootout. Kings over the Flames 4-3 in OT on a game winner by Adrian Kempe. And the Sharks over the Wild 5-2. We have 2 hockey games postponed, guys. Lightning Sabres postponed. Oh, but that's because of a snowstorm. That's not because of COVID. This is because of a snowstorm because Buffalo is dealing with a big storm right now. Flyers Hurricanes. Canes minus 360. Flyers plus 280 over under 6. Overs minus 112. Unders minus 108. Flyers plus 1/2 is plus 116. Canes minus 1/2 is minus 142. I'm taking the Flyers plus 1/2 at plus 116. Canes on the second of a back-to-back. Bruins Devils from Jersey. Bruins minus 122. Devils plus 102 over under 6. Overs minus 122. Unders even money. Bruins minus 1/2 is plus 198. Devils plus 1/2 is minus 250. I kind of like the Devils at home plus 102 as a dog. Red Wings Senators postponed till New Year's Eve. I think that's bizarre that that game got postponed to New Year's Eve. And did Lightning Sabres have a new date? Yes. Or no, it doesn't. Actually, no, it's not postponed to December 31st. We don't know that for sure. We don't know why those games are postponed. We'll figure it out in news and notes. Jets, Caps. Lines just moved. Caps minus 160, Jets plus 138, over under 6.5, over is even money, unders minus 122. Jets plus 1.5 is minus 184, Caps minus 1.5 is plus 148. I like Winnipeg to win on the road plus 138. That's pretty good. 7:30, Panthers, Isles. Panthers minus 115, Isles minus 104, over the 6.5, over is plus 102, unders minus 124. Panthers minus 1.5 is plus 205, Isles plus 1.5 is minus 260. I'm taking the Islanders at home minus 104, bounce back spot after the loss against the Rangers. 8 o'clock, Habs, Stars. Stars minus 315, Habs plus 250, over under 6, overs minus 114, unders minus 106. Habs plus 1.5 is minus 104, Stars minus 1.5 is minus 118. I'm going with the Canadians plus 1.5 at minus 104. Abs, Preds. Abs minus 118, Preds minus 102, over under 6, overs plus 110, unders minus 138. Abs minus 1.5 is plus 198, Preds plus 1.5 is minus 250. I'm going with the Avalanche on the road, minus 118. 8:30, Blackhawks hosting the Blue Jackets. Columbus minus 114, Blackhawks minus 105, over under 6.5, overs minus 105, unders minus 118. Jackets minus 1.5 is plus 220, Blackhawks plus 1.5 is minus 280. This is such an unknown game. I'm going with the tie plus 320 between the tanking teams. 9 o'clock, Canucks, Oilers. Oilers minus 235, Canucks plus 190, over under 6.5, overs minus 138, unders plus 112. Canucks plus 1.5 is minus 122. Oilers minus 1.5 is even money. I'm going to lay the puck line with the Oilers at even money because Canucks on the second of a back-to-back. 9:30, Kings, Coyotes. Kings minus 156, Coyotes plus 130, over under 6, overs minus 124, unders plus 102. Kings minus 1.5 is plus 144, Coyotes plus 1.5 is minus 178. I'm going to go with LA in regulation at minus 106. Blues, Golden Knights. Vegas minus 170, Blues plus 138, over under 6, overs minus 120, unders minus 102. Blues plus 1.5 is minus 176, Vegas minus 1.5 is plus 142. I'm going to go with Vegas in regulation 2 at minus 108. And 10:30, Flames, Ducks. Flames minus 225, Ducks plus 184, over under 6, overs minus 132, unders even money. Flames minus 1.5 is plus 110, Ducks plus 1.5 is minus 134. I'm going to go with first period result, Flames plus 126. All right, no games on Saturday or Sunday, no NHL games to pick on the podcast until Tuesday. All right, news and notes for today. Bad weather. Kathy Hochul declared a state of emergency for all New York starting at 6 a.m. this morning due to inclement weather. So that makes sense why the Sabre game got postponed. Absolutely brutal. Hopefully everybody's okay up in New York. And then the Senators game. So another snowstorm. So it's because of snow. Okay. Makes more sense now. So we'll start news and notes with football. So about a half an hour ago, it was reported that Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury are divided on issues and have grown increasingly distant during the season. This shouldn't really surprise anybody. A lot of speculation about this. I think Cliff is probably going to get fired after the season. We talked about the Jets benching Zach Wilson. As Chris Streveler came in, fans were booing Zach Wilson, and rightfully so. He said he doesn't blame fans for the frustration after the offense struggled last night. Jalen Hurts out against the Cowboys. It looks like it's going to be Gardner Minshew. Travis Kelce joins the 99 club as he's named to Madden's coveted 99 club for the third time. Viral Patriots fans invited to the game as Robert Kraft personally invites Jerry Edmond to Saturday's game after aggressive Raiders fan heckled Edmond. That's nice. You love to see that. Jarvis Landry on injury reserve will miss the rest of the regular season. Chris Olave out tomorrow against the Browns as well. Chase Young will be back for the Commanders, so that's good news for them. Trey Hendrickson to play against the Patriots with a broken wrist. So that's interesting that he's going to play with a broken wrist. Giants activate Landon Collins off the practice squad and will play plenty at linebacker after the promotion. So, National Signing Day was 2 days ago, and 5-star safety Peyton Bowen flips again, as now he flips to Oklahoma after flipping his commitment from Notre Dame to Oregon yesterday. How many times can you flip, for crying out loud? An Oregon star linebacker, Noah Sewell, announcing that he will enter the 2023 NFL Draft. Not surprising. He probably will not play in the bowl game. Two teams checked in on retired tight end Rob Gronkowski after Gronk tweeted, "I'm kind of bored." That's kind of funny. So, baseball. Major League Baseball reinstates Trevor Bauer, and his suspension is reduced to 194 games following the appeal. That's just a mess. He should be banned from the sport. He's just a disgusting person and needs help. And he was a great pitcher in his heyday, but he ruined it for himself. He did a lot of wrong. Drew Smyly back to the Cubs, tiers $19 million. So they get a back-end guy. The Reds make some moves. They DFA Mike Moustakas after signing Kirk Casale to a one-year deal, and they also signed Will Myers to a one-year, $7.5 million deal. So you would think Will Myers will probably be traded from the Reds next year. The San Francisco Giants had concerns over the long-term stability of Carlos Correa's leg from an injury he suffered in 2014. Really? From that long ago? So the Yankees introduced Carlos Rodon yesterday as he was rocking the pinstripes. And the Yankees are among teams talking to the Pirates about Brian Reynolds. Brian Reynolds is an interesting player. He didn't have a great year last year. He has a ton of potential. There's a lot of stats that suggest that he was unlucky last year from like an analytical standpoint. But to me, if you're a team like the Yankees and you want to go upgrade at left field and play Reynolds there, you have to think to yourself, is he worth giving up your top prospects for? But then again, prospects to me are like cap space. It's like fake in a way. Oh, fake's kind of a harsh word to use. So let's just say they're like imaginary until they actually show what they really are on the big league level. And I compare it to cap space in sports because, like you see in basketball, teams clearing cap space to go get a free agent. And it's not worth it if you don't land the guy that you plan on landing. Like you saw, obviously, with the Knicks with Kevin Durant, when they tried to go at KD and Kyrie in 2019. They traded away Kristaps Porzingis, and then the Hardaway contract to try to clear cap room to sign those guys, but it didn't work out. But I've said it a couple times on the podcast over the last year or so, and how the Knicks, I think, caught a break with that, because then they would have had to deal with all the Kyrie drama. So it's a good thing they didn't sign those guys. And then they would have had to deal with the Kevin Durant drama too, and maybe they trade for Harden, and that would have blew up. So, yeah. So I look at prospects kind of like I look at cap space in a way. Like, it's not real until you, in the cap space component, it's until it's used in the way you want to use it, and obviously if it pays off or not, and then the prospects is if whether they live up to potential on the big league level or not. And speaking of prospects, the Nationals claimed Jeter Downs off of waivers as he was DFA'd by the Red Sox last week, which was crazy. And in basketball, the Lakers are interested in Knicks forward Cam Reddish. Some in the Lakers organization are very intrigued. Executives around the NBA think that Trae Young could be the next star on a rookie max to request out. I don't know if I would trade a boatload for Trae Young, because he's shown to be a one-trick pony, which is an offense-only player. And he's just a flawed point guard for as good as he is. And he only had one great run, and that was in 2021 when they took advantage of an overrated, at the time, Knicks team, and Ben Simmons melting down in the postseason in a COVID-shortened year. And also, DeMar DeRozan could ask for a trade, as it could lead to DeRozan wanting out this offseason. But there's some speculation that they might trade him this year if they continue to lose and they want to blow that team up. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with Chicago. All right, best bet of the day brought to you by FanDuel. We have some options, but one really jumped the gun to me. It's the Denver Nuggets. They are laying 4 points at home against a Blazers team that they should run away against. I'm going to lay a quarter unit on the Denver Nuggets minus the 4. Oh, it's up to 4.5, but I still like it. At home against the Blazers. All right, so now we'll do the Fab Five. We're going to do a quarter unit each per pick. So without further ado, here we go. We'll start the NFL. And it's only going to be the NFL, actually, because I'm so used to doing it with college as well. All right, so the first pick of the Fab Five is going to be over 32.5 between the Saints and the Browns. It's just ridiculously low, in my opinion. So I'm going to lay a quarter unit on over 32.5 between the Saints and the Browns. Pick number 2, I'm going to go over 40.5 between the Bills and the Bears. The Bills have some injuries on defense, and I think the Bears can take advantage. So over 40.5. Pick number 3, I'm going to take the Commanders getting the 7 in San Francisco against the Niners. I think this is a good bounce back spot for Washington on the road. I don't feel like people are giving them a shot in this game, so I'm going to take the Commanders getting the 7 against the Niners. Pick number 4, I'm going to go over 38.5 in the Raiders-Steelers. Kenny Pickett's back, and I think that that offense is going to put up some points, as well as the Raider offense, with some players on Pittsburgh's defense not healthy. And the final pick of the Fab Five is going to be on Sunday. I'm going to lay the 3.5 with the Dolphins against Green Bay. I think that this is a perfect bounce back spot for Miami. I think that Green Bay has some injuries and Miami can exploit. So I'm going to lay the 3.5 with Miami against the Packers. And the underdog pick of the week. I can't believe I'm going to do it. I can't believe I'm about to make this pick. Doesn't it seem only fitting for the Eagles without Jalen Hurts to beat the Cowboys in Dallas? Doesn't it seem only fitting? I'm going to take Philly plus 168 to beat the Cowboys in Dallas as my underdog pick of the week. Alrighty, so that's it for the show. I'll be back on Monday recapping everything from the holiday weekend. I'm going to do some sort of power rankings, maybe the NHL power rankings, because we haven't done them in so long. And I want to do the most overrated, underrated players of the last 10 years for each sport, and that'll be the theme of the power rankings. All right, so that's it for the show. Like I said, I'll be back on Monday. Hope you guys have a Merry Christmas and Happy Holiday, everybody.